Over 250,000 Chinese are confirmed to be living with HIV, and that number is contained in a report released by the Ministry of Health and UNAIDS. However, previous estimates suggest some 700,000 people are infected with HIV here in China. And finding those unreported 400,000 virus carriers poses a tough task. Statistics from the Ministry of Health shows that over 40% of those who contracted the virus this year were infected via sex between men and women. Another 5.1%, a sharp increase from 0.4% in 2005, contracted the virus during homosexual encounters. And to curb the spread of HIV, the Chinese government is going to step up education among prostitutes and gay men. It will also offer AIDS patients free services, such as counselling, testing, antiviral medicine, and provide education for orphans of AIDS patients. Traditional Chinese medicines will be used more extensively in treating the disease. The latest survey shows that the Chinese public generally does not have enough knowledge about AIDS and how it's transmitted. Discrimination against AIDS sufferers also remains widespread. Experts say these factors are the main obstacles for China's AIDS prevention work. But the Chinese government has shown its determination to prevent the spread of AIDS, as Zhang Siwei reports.
The symbols in the worldwide fight against AIDS, 3 giant red ribbons, are unveiled at the Bird's Nest in Beijing 1 day ahead of the World AIDS Day. They will remain there for half a month. It demonstrates the Chinese government's determination to prevent the spread of AIDS and the promotions of a good social environment for the anti-AIDS work. The China Anti-AIDS Media Project Union has released its latest survey, which was conducted in 6 big cities, including Beijing and Shanghai. The survey shows that many of the 6,000 respondents have a poor understanding of the transmission of HIV/AIDS. Nearly half think they can get it from being bitten by mosquitoes and insects, and about 20% believe a sneeze or cough from an AIDS patient can spread the disease. The survey also finds there's still widespread discrimination against AIDS sufferers. More than 60% will be reluctant to stay together with AIDS patients, and 30% think students infected with HIV should not be allowed in the same class with the healthy.
The discrimination has much hindered the progress of our AIDS prevention work. China has an estimated number of 400,000 undetected AIDS patients. They are afraid of going for AIDS tests in large part because of social discrimination. And many others do not even have an awareness about AIDS tests due to the lack of knowledge. That poses greater risks for further transmission.
The red ribbon is a global icon showing the public support and care toward people infected with HIV or suffering from AIDS. Experts point out that strengthening publicity campaigns and improving public awareness is important to China's anti-AIDS work. Zheng Siwei, CCTV.
In our lead story, Premier Wen Jiabao has visited AIDS patients in East China's Anhui province. His visit to villages in Fuyang came on the eve of World AIDS Day with a pledge to fight the deadly epidemic. Wang Qiqing reports.
Since he became the premier in 2003, Wen Jiabao has visited AIDS patients every year. This is the second time these children have seen the premier in 3 years. They're all siblings and lost their parents to AIDS. 2 years ago, they were invited to visit Wen Jiabao's home in Beijing, and since then they have picked up their lives, doing well in their studies and helping their old grandmother with housework at home. This village is one of those badly hit by the disease. The 7-year-old girl has been diagnosed with HIV. Wen Jiabao encouraged her to stay strong and confident, fight the virus, succeed in her studies, and keep hopes for her life. He said the government will provide all the necessary financial and medical support. Wen Jiabao also visited a local clinic. He called on the patients to be positive and not lose hope. He reminded them that many warm-hearted people in society care for them. Wen Jiabao said he was very touched to hear one patient donated 2,000 yuan for the reconstruction in Sichuan after the massive earthquake in May. Later, the premier met with local officials. He said the government should not fail in its promise in the implementation of the supportive policies for patients and affected families. Every year, more money should be spent to control and prevent the disease, and more professional training should be given to medical workers. Wang Xiqing, CCTV.
On World AIDS Day, Chinese leaders were out to promote awareness. President Hu Jintao visited patients and medical workers in Beijing's Ditan Hospital, where he encouraged researchers and volunteers to explore effective methods of treating patients. Vice Premier Li Keqiang called for better implementation of the government's prevention and control policies. Wang Xiqing has more details on this story.
Every year on World AIDS Day, Chinese leaders take the chance to say the government cares. President Hu Jintao's trip to Ditan Hospital was to learn about the progresses in the research and application of the disease's treatment. Ditan is China's top hospital for HIV/AIDS. Hu Jintao talked with workers here about issues such as equipment and procedures in medical experiments. He was informed about progress the hospital has made in the research and antiretroviral therapies and medicines.
For years, you have worked hard in your research and made contributions to the control and prevention of the disease. Combating HIV/AIDS must rely on science and technology. I hope you can achieve breakthroughs in the global medical problem, upgrade China's capability in treating the virus, and protect people's health.
The president also visited the home of Red Ribbon, a social community service center at the hospital. This place offers patients services including psychological counseling, information sharing, and legal assistance. Hu Jintao also asked about the center's AIDS prevention website and telephone hotline, which are run by volunteers.
Volunteers are an indispensable force in AIDS prevention work. This work requires the participation of the whole society. I hope volunteers like you can continue to care for the patients and teach the public about how to prevent the spread of the virus.
The president also met 2 female patients at the center. One of them was pregnant when diagnosed with the disease. She gave credit to the center and the hospital, saying her child was born healthy and free of HIV. Hu Jintao asked them to continue treatment and stay confident. Vice Premier Li Keqiang also joined the president for this tour. Later, Li Keqiang held a state council meeting. He listened to reports on the disease in different provinces and regions. Li Keqiang said the control and prevention system should be improved and treatment and medical training mechanisms be upgraded. Local governments must closely monitor the spread of the virus, especially among higher-risk groups and regions. The vice premier said fighting HIV/AIDS will require interaction and cooperation between the government and the society, and strict implementation of policies. Wang Xiqing, CCTV.